Last week, Nova Scotia Power told the public it was coping with a cybersecurity incident. Now it says some customers' personal information was taken by an unauthorized third party. The company is now trying to figure out whose data has been stolen. Claudiu Popa is CEO of Datarisk Canada and is a leading expert in cybersecurity in this country. Sir, we don't know a lot of the details about this data breach at Nova Scotia Power, but from what we do know, how serious do you think this cybersecurity incident is?
So without creating any kind of fear, I think it's always a significant situation when you have a security incident at a power company or at utility. Utilities are very sensitive organizations. They are important. They are part of critical infrastructure in our country. And there's a lot of interest both within Canada and even more from outside Canada to figure out how they work, what kind of sensitive information they store, and how their operations can be impacted.
Okay, I'm sure the utility is working feverishly behind the scenes here, but in terms of communicating with the public, how much should the utility be telling people at this point?
Well, transparency is key because the stakeholders here are citizens. These are individuals whose personal information has ostensibly been stolen. It's been taken, and that much has been confirmed. We don't really know who was impacted. The organization said that those impacted will be contacted directly. That presents a bit of a risk because we know from past breaches that one of the first things that criminals do when they steal a lot of information is they impersonate the organization and they try to reach out to victims first in order to get them to click on links, perhaps infect their own computers, or even intimidate them into paying some amounts of money or extort them in any other way.
And so how do you define this? Is this a ransomware attack, identity theft? Or, are there telltale signs here?
We don't have evidence that it's any one of those things. We've only been told that there was an indication of unusual behavior. It turned out to be a breach. The information appears to have been taken. We know that this was not an accident. We know that this was a criminal act and that data belonging to individuals was stolen. So that in itself is a lot of information that tells us that this information has value and it'll be monetized by criminals in some way, shape, or form. In the days to come, it'll probably be appearing on some kind of a dark web marketplace. It takes some doing to slice and dice it in order to make it appealing to those who specialize in a particular kind of individual profile, such as seniors or young people who have just moved into an area, or professionals, etc. Right? There's various types of cyber criminals who specialize in selling these things or buying these things and using them to some extent. But if it's not a ransomware attack, it could simply be a false flag and they took the information to make it look like something else. Perhaps additional sensitive information was taken. Again, there's always a risk of cyber espionage, of stealing very sensitive intellectual property or even operational details from utilities in Canada. These are not mutually exclusive, so that's why I say this is a fairly serious situation, and people should have an interest in it, but they should not panic.
To the best of our knowledge, the grid has not been affected. Might it be at risk?
Oh, absolutely. It's all about the information that has been accessed. Chances are no such information was accessed. We don't know yet. We don't know whether an extortion note was presented to the organization and whether they even decided to negotiate with the attackers. These are possibilities. Generally speaking, the process of responding to a breach is to connect with a breach coach. These are provided by insurance companies, and those breach coaches take control of the process while a forensic investigation takes place internally to understand more about the breach itself. We don't know what stage these two parts of the incident response process are at, but we do know that there's a lot of interest on the part of individuals who simply need to know what aspects of their personal information has been taken, because that will tell us what kind of compromises they might be at risk of.
Okay.
So there might be identity theft or fraud or intimidation, etc.
And so while whatever is happening behind the scenes happens, how do customers protect themselves? I mean, and if customers can't access the company website, which we're hearing some people are having difficulty with, what are the customers to do?
Yeah, clearly the 1-800 line and the websites are deluged with interest. So people need to understand, simply by looking at their bill, they need to understand what information has been taken. So name, address, phone number, so contact information for sure, possibly billing information would have been taken. I don't know whether social insurance numbers or any health data would be part of that. I doubt it. That was a more serious breach that occurred 2 years ago in the same province in Nova Scotia as part of a government agency's breach. We don't have any idea whether these are related, nor am I suggesting such a thing. But if individuals want to take the extra step of changing passwords on their NSP account, if their credit card number is on file with NSP, they can consider that to be compromised, then simply request a new credit card or a new debit card from the bank. And of course, look for opportunities to not just change passwords, but make them as long as possible, and also demand multi-factor authentication. Nowadays, it's the standard. You need to have a second factor, so a code on your phone or an authenticator app that can run on your smartphone that will give you an additional level of protection and prevent people from breaking into your account, even if they know your password.
All right, some good advice there. Appreciate your time on this. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on the show.